In this episode of The Real Crimes of Kurri Kurri, I discuss AVOs, apprehended violence orders. Kurri, like all the other local courts in New South Wales, regularly have AVO cases. So I wouldn't be telling a balanced story about Kurri cases if I don't talk about AVOs. This time I'll just focus on one of the AVO cases. And I think the community would benefit from hearing about this case, as I think it makes a valuable contribution to the New South Wales wide conversation about domestic and personal violence. In late March 2025, when court sat at Kurri, a 26-year-old defendant, who I will call Jodie, it's not her real name, appeared. Part of the complete story is before the court, so I'm going to be saying alleged a lot. There's also quite a tragic part to this story, which I won't give any details about because I think it'll be very confronting for people. A lot of violence type cases can have horrible details. I'm attempting to still talk about how the law is applied, and I think you can do that without breaching the person's privacy or revealing tragic personal details, which was said in open court. Police have charged Jodie with breaching an AVO. The protected person is her former partner, Gary, it's also not his real name, and the AVO prohibits her from having contact with Gary. Jodie meets up with Gary and therefore breaches the AVO. Police charge Jodie, and therefore there's now a case at the local court. Jodie turns up on this day in March at Kurri Kurri Local Court. The magistrate uses their discretion and dismisses the AVO breach under Section 10. And normally I'd have a lot to say here because I have opinions about the use of Section 10. Section 10 of the Crime Sentencing Procedure Act 1999 allows for a case to be dismissed under some circumstances. This is my least favourite part, when the court dismisses an AVO breach because they decide it's trivial. In my opinion, I think in some cases this can send the wrong message to the complainants/victims that what happened to them was trivial. Because in my opinion, if the court decides that it's trivial, it doesn't actually mean what happened to you was trivial. However, in this case, I agree with the use of Section 10. I think the court is not saying it's trivial. I don't think the court was saying it's okay to breach the AVO. Rather, the decision considered the overall situation. How did police find out that Jodie met up with Gary? Jodie told the police when she reported an alleged act of violence done to her by Gary when they allegedly met up. From the alleged violent act, Jodie also allegedly suffered a tragic personal loss. Sorry, I have to keep saying alleged. In no way I wish to offend by inferring that the loss didn't happen. I say alleged for legal reasons, and I must continue to do so until the case is finalised. Again, I'm not going to describe what has allegedly happened, but I will say details were said in open court. Police went on to charge Gary, who remains in custody as he is currently bail refused on the matter. From the court list, it looks like there's a hearing set in April at Newcastle Local Court. As for Jodie, it's her own admissions that the AVO breach is based on. This case highlights that sometimes a complainant may weigh up walking into a police station to report a serious crime done to them, where they risk also being charged with a crime. To be clear, it's not a defence to the crime that you did. The point I'm making is that the AVO cases sometimes appear simple on paper but can be very complex. I think this case highlights that we should consider the context. And with that said, I don't think this story is completely told until we add Gary's case to allow the full context to be seen. It looks like a small AVO case at Kurri, but what it's connected to deserves to be told to prevent this happening to others. I look around the fairly empty courtroom and I wished a journalist was there. There are currently no news items about either Jodie or Gary. I think Jodie's case and the upcoming case of Gary makes an interesting contribution to the conversation about domestic and personal violence.